done in the past, anybody's been to my talk, I got 200 cards. Anybody does not have a card? Wow, look at them all. Anybody have more than one card? Would you please share? Because you don't even know which one's the lucky one yet. I got one spare, because this is my demo model. So if you sat in the front row and you're giving me the rest of your chocolate, I'm telling you. And so what's a good pseudorandom number generator from 1 to 200? The 200 residue of the last 3 digits of a serial number on a dollar bill, right? About as good as you can get. So we'll do, let's see, 5 of these. I got 6 NSA glasses. I got some t-shirts. And I found a very, very appropriate piece of swag, a McAfee virus scraper, which I might actually keep for myself because my wife told me that, she's up in Baltimore and it is getting close to 35 inches of snow up there now. It's almost 10 to 12 more than we're getting in DC, and it's only 60 miles away. Okay, so first drawing, you need to be here, obviously. Okay, 183. It should have just been handed out because that was still in the stack. 183. Oh, come on. Who took a card? There you go. Come on up. What would you like? Trust but verify. Bring your card. Okay, next one. 007. Oh, come on. If you're not here, you're not here. Shame on you. All right. Well, okay. Let's see. 183. And what would you like? Would you like a glass? Would you like a DEF CON shirt? Would you like, oh, by the way, I got NSA activity books. Coloring books, Crypto Kids.
Let's take a DEF CON shirt.
Take a DEF CON shirt, extra large, large.
Extra large.
All right, there you go. Okay, next one. Okay, it's 871, so it'll be 171. No, it's 071, I'm sorry.
I got 171.
Hey, is 071 here? Okay, you got me on a mistake, so come on. NSA glass, DEF CON shirt. By the way, if anybody's like really into old stuff, remember the old hacker shirts were always white? 1997 Computer Security Conference, so that's almost old enough to drink. DEF CON shirts, large, extra large, not the Fed shirt. Don't take all day. Take a beer. Okay, that's wrapped for packing. If you want to drink with it, take one of the ones that's up here for demo. Because
I do want to drink with it at home.
all right, but not with your friends here. Okay, got it. Okay, next one.
I got a flask.
Oh, this is cool, like 999, so that would be 199. Like, who is the penultimate person to walk in here? See, and you're sitting in the back. What would you like? Hurry up and get a couple more, then we'll get started. Okay, got a lot of stuff to go through. Come on up and get it. Next one is 926, so that would be 126. Come on down. 199, and you can get to keep it. Sorry about that. And you have 2. You're only supposed to have 1. All right, well, I'll tell you what. Here's your 126. You keep that. Who doesn't have a card? There you go. Should we disqualify him or let him take something? Here, give me a badge holder. No. Grab something fast. You got 5 seconds. Okay, good. You got a DEF CON shirt. Okay, next one is 264, so that would be 064. 064, 064. You see, I give a few of these things out in advance. And, all right, 2 more and then we'll get started. Now we're into the good stuff. 029. Somebody met last night. 029. See, this isn't working. I give you have 129? Let's try the next one. 906, so it'll be 106. Man, this sucks. Okay, glad I do this before the talk, because then we can edit this all out, and no one's going to see that this is like a fail. 666. Okay, so that's going to be 066, right? 066 here? All right, we're just going to start doing some talking, and then we'll give away some swag a little bit later. Okay, my name is G. Mark Hardy. I go by the handle G. Mark, sort of eponymous. Oh, what you got?
066.
He is indeed the evil hacker. Help yourself. Anything you see up here? Well, not everything. I mean, you can't take my clicker, which is bad, unless you bring me a new battery. Because I've got a battery, but I'm not going to change it out. Enjoy the beer glass. If you're going to drink here, take one that's unwrapped. Otherwise, take that to bring it home with you. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about Tales from the Crypto. Now, I advertise things about stories you can look up in the library, like World War I and World War II and things like that. Or I can tell you the ways to win crypto contests. Which would you rather do? Both? We only got an hour. What would you rather do? Crypto contests. Okay, I'll tell you these over a beer, all right? So go win something and I'll tell you over the beer. Talking about military use before World War I, World War II, Enigma ciphers, American, German, Japanese, commercial crypto. Everything before about 1974 was always symmetric cryptography. It wasn't until we developed asymmetric cryptography, i.e. things like public key, that you have one key and another key and they complement each other. So everything prior to that is what we call classic crypto, and most crypto contests are based on that. Why? Because you can do them in your head. You can do it with a piece of paper. You don't have to go ahead and go online and download tools and brute force. Like you got this little deep crack junior running out here with one of the companies. You guys here? Yeah, a little special purpose card going to do a full 2 to the 56 key search in about 3 days. Pretty awesome. It used to be 90 years. That's what it was estimated when DES came out. So there's basic things in terms of ciphers. Pretty simple. Transposition or substitution. The other ones, the product, explanation, we won't cover here. What's a transposition mean? Swap things around. Substitution means put something else in its place. So if I transpose things or move them around, I get a different type of result, but there's some characteristics that remain the same. So if I have to send the message, attack at dawn, and I'm using a transposition cipher, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to go ahead and I can load that into, let's say, a 3x4 grid. And now what I can do is, depending upon what column I want to select in what order, that becomes my key. So in this particular case, if the key is 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty basic key, but nonetheless, I'm going to pull the stuff from 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and attack at dawn becomes ACD, TKA, TAW, ATN. Somewhat obscured. Now what's preserved in a transposition cipher? The distribution of letters. What's the most common letter in the English language? E, followed by T, A, O, N, I, R, S, H, and goes all the way down to J, Q, X, and Z. All right, go read The Gold Bug from Edgar Allan Poe from about 160 years ago. I mean, it hasn't changed a whole lot. And so what we find out about 13% of letters tend to be letter E. And so a transposition cipher, if I use a different key, I get the same population. The most common letters still are preserved. So things you can do when you first get a chunk of cryptography is to say, let me do a frequency analysis. What are there the most of? Hey, there's a lot of Qs. Maybe Q represents E. If not E, it's probably T. And then you do it that way, and you start to figure out what the pattern is, and then you can start to break it. So crypto usually isn't an all or nothing thing, it's incremental. You find a little toehold, you build on it, and then you constantly build. Occasionally you might have to stop, back up, go the other way, but it's pretty straightforward. A substitution cipher means you're going to go ahead and we're going to substitute one letter for another. This is called a Caesar cipher. I'm going to show you. Why was it called a Caesar cipher? Yeah, it's not Caesar out in DEF CON who uses it, who throws some of his parties like the, oh, by the way, yeah, I brought some cool stuff from DEF CON. It's still out here.
I got another one.
You got another one. Okay, you've got one up there as well. But what a Caesar cipher does is this was used by Julius Caesar back when he was out conquering Gaul and other places like that to send messages back. And what you did is you take the little alphabet, A through Z. Well, back then, of course, you'd use the Roman alphabet. So transpose 3 spaces. So what you do is A becomes D, B becomes E, C becomes F, etc. When you get to the end of the alphabet, you wrap around. So you wrap back, so W goes to Z, X goes to A, then B, then C. And it's pretty simple because they're all still there. 26 letters going in, 26 different letters going out. But it's very simple because the key here is what? 3. How many different keys can you have in a Caesar cipher?
How many different letters do you have?
I have 25, yeah, because what happens with key 26? It collapses on top of itself, doesn't it? It comes right back to the message that you had before. So using a key of 26 would not be a very bright thing to do in a Caesar cipher. And so, for example, if we had attack at dawn and we shifted everything 3 places, A becomes BCD, T, UVW, W, D, FND, and now you see different letters. You say, hey, wait a minute, in the spoken English language, there's not a lot of D's and W's, relatively speaking, but here that's full of D's and W's. That would suggest to you that you've got a substitution cipher going on. All right? So, if you see a lot of common letters, then it's going to suggest that things have been rearranged, transposition. If you see a lot of frequency of things that aren't common letters, it's a good hint it's a substitution, so that gets you started on one of those 2 tracks. So what happened is, the problem with the substitution ciphers is they're pretty straightforward, because you don't have to do them in order. Anybody ever see like the crypto puzzle in the newspaper, and a lot of papers that do that? They do that down in Norfolk and things like that. And there are how many possible keys for a substitution cipher? 25. Okay, now that's for a Caesar cipher. But substitution, I'm going to remove the requirement that they all shift together. So A can map to 25 other things, right? We're assuming you're not going to map to yourself. That's a dumb thing. So it's 25 ways to map A. How many ways to map B? Well, 24, because we've already used up one of those spots. 23, 22, 21. So what do you call it? Do you add those or multiply them? What's the product of all the integers from 25 down to 1? 25 factorial. Big number. And yet that number, which is several quadrillion, the average, well, maybe average person could sit there over a cup of coffee and crack that thing in just a couple minutes. How could you have so many keys, quadrillions and quadrillions of keys, and be able to crack that thing trivially? Frequency analysis, again.
You also in them have a lot more information with word space. Like if I have a letter,
Bingo, because the most common,
1 and 2 letter words are basically.
yeah, most common letter in the English language is E. The most common, if you will, ASCII character in printed text is the space, X20, right? Because every word is going to have a space associated with it, except it's the end of the sentence. So you actually get more of those than E's. And so the nice thing about the puzzle in the paper, you get space, space, space. So if you think you know what the two most common letters are, like a T and an E, and you say, okay, let me guess, I think that, and the first word ends up being T something, E something, E, what's the word probably going to be? Might be there, right? T-H-E-R-E. And now I can guess H and R, which are fairly common. I substitute down there, and I got it's the word her, H-E-R. So there may be something about her, and then you start to crack it very quickly because you're using more than just a frequency analysis. You're using knowledge about the language. And that's what made things very, very difficult back in things like World War II when you needed to have a Japanese linguist to be able to crack the Japanese messages, because they're not going to go, or the Germans, we're going to send in, naturally, in Deutsch, right? You're not going to translate your message to your battlefield commanders into your enemy's native spoken language to make it easier for them to break it. The problem with Japanese is how many symbols have you got on a Japanese keyboard? A whole lot. So they had to break them down into digraphs. A digraph is like a pair of characters. So like A, B, A, C, and they would each equate to something. How many digraphs are there out there with just letters? 26 times 26, come on. 676. So you can represent a lot of different things that way. And again, it helps to have some thought about numbers. The problem, therefore, that we said about a simple substitution cipher is with zillions of keys, you can crack them trivially. So a Vigenère cipher, about 150 years old, they said, hey, how about if we run parallel ciphers? That is to say, we encrypt every other letter, or every third, or every fourth, or every fifth. Now we've got something that actually might work. So let's say we take the word party, P-A-R-T-Y, which is a good thing to do tonight, right? And we'll then go ahead and we will pick those particular Caesar ciphers. So if my key is P, I'm going to take letter A, increment it how many places? P is the 15th letter, or 16th letter, so P plus A would be Q. And A, you just add 1, and so party, 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 I'll take a message like attack at dawn tomorrow. My keys, I'll break it up into the lengths that my key is going to be. So I go party, party, party. So what's A plus P, if you will, mod 26? Well, A's worth 1, P, so what comes after P? Q. Okay, T and A, it comes after T. Yeah, all right, interesting. Wasn't what it was, yeah, that's a good party, right? U, and then when you get to something like C and Y, well, that's going to wrap around the end of the alphabet, isn't it? What's 3 places after Y? Z, A, B. So we're going to see that this thing, there's your Q, there's your U, there's your B, and now what you're seeing with the substitution ciphers, there's 5 concurrent encryption things going side by side. They're all simple ciphers. And if you got, but it spreads stuff around. So now the U that you get in the first term and the second U don't go back to the original same starting value, do they? One of them is a T in plain text, the other one's an A in the plain text. But because your key keeps changing on a repeating cycle, you can have up to 5 different things mapped to the same letter in ciphertext. So you might see J, 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 and you go, man, what's with this 5 things in a row stuff? It could be a pretty good clue that there might be a substitution cipher going on. It doesn't necessarily have to be a period of 5 because the first and the fifth might be the letter E, for example, and it just happens around. What you'll do find, though, is that if you look at this, because this now flattens out that distribution, because now you've got maybe 13% are E's, and if that E maps to like an X, but now you got 4 other things, so that 13% is going to get diluted by a factor of 5, and now what you're seeing is your ciphertext resembles noise. The information content is harder and harder to see. So one of the things that people say is, well, we will compress, we'll encrypt and compress your data, and you get great savings. Well, what's the problem with that?
It's random.
How can you compress random stuff? You can't. Because what you're looking for is patterns. The nice thing about English language, if you go to the old zip, when you used to zip files up, why do they